Welcome to this episode of the Innovators Insider Podcast. Today we're talking all about Onshape Live 22, our second annual user conference. Kicks off on March 2nd for the Americas with a follow-up on Thursday the 3rd for our European guests. That'll start at 10 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So to tell us a little bit more about the event and to bring in our special guests, here's the professor, Michael LaFleche.
Hey, Richard. Thanks for that great intro. I'm really excited for today's session. I want to welcome in a couple of great colleagues here at PTC and Onshape. Let's introduce Loretta Falude. I think I said that right. And let's add you to the stream here. Hey, Loretta, how are you doing?
I am awesome. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Just great. Loretta, you are the Senior Strategy Director at PTC, and before joining PTC and the Onshape team, you were the Solution Strategy Director at Pros, where you helped establish Pros as a really cool, vital digital transformation partner. And obviously, PTC knows some stuff about digital transformation. And you also have a cool, strong background in analyzing and qualifying new markets and developing long-term strategies. So I'm really excited to have you in the podcast. And I also want to introduce a former customer turned Onshaper, Mehul Gala. Welcome to the show, Mehul.
Hello, hi, Mehul. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you. I think we've known each other for quite some time now, Mehul, as a customer, and you were, hailing from the beautiful city of Cleveland, right? Home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah,
absolutely. Rock. Yeah, it's an honor to be here on this podcast. It's an honor to be at Onshape. Big fan.
And you were a new product development guy, right? So at Kitchler Products, I think it was before joining
Kitchler Lighting.
Yeah,
so,
Kitchler
Lighting. We replaced our incumbent CAD system and transitioned to Onshape worldwide. So we're developing product in North America, producing it in Asia, and then we were selling it in North America again. So we were sent home during the pandemic and barely missed a beat with Onshape. So there were a few hiccups trying to get our monitors set up at home, but then once that was done, we were off and running with Onshape.
That's awesome. So you didn't have to go in the VPNs and try to get files off your PDM servers or anything like that, like all the horror stories we've been hearing.
Thankfully, no.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do, this is a session talking about Onshape Live. Onshape Live is the conference that Onshape puts on, and I wanted to, really hear from the people involved either last year or this year in this. And really, this is a question for you, Loretta, first. What are you most excited about for this year's Onshape Live event?
Okay, so I am one of the kind of a full disclosure. I'm new-ish to PTC and to the Onshape team. And I think one of the things that just absolutely blows my mind is how awesome our customers are, and how awesome our ambassadors are, and how everybody just engages, with the Onshape team to really help develop our products. And I would say that what I'm most excited about for Onshape Live is really bringing the entire Onshape community together. So there you're going to see everybody from students K2 to 12. And you're going to see a lot of educators. You're going to see professionals who've been using Onshape for years. You're going to see people who are new. You're going to see analysts. So I'm really, really excited about this opportunity to bring everybody together and just talk a little bit about Onshape, talk a little bit about the product direction, talk a little bit about PTC, and also give a lot of attendees the opportunity to hear from peers. So it's going to be a great event this year, and I absolutely cannot wait.
Great. And I think I have the same question for you, Mehul. I mean, you're coming from a little bit of a different point of view, being a customer and now being an Onshape employee at PTC. What do you like? What are you most excited about this year?
Yeah, I mean, I love the interaction with CAD. I love the opportunity to see what other people are doing as a CADer in the past, as a customer. Seeing some of the best practices for CAD. I liked seeing tips on how to make things better and faster, and then seeing some insights on engineering. I was blown away by some of the panelists last year. That were doing amazing things, and I get to see now what our customers are doing live, every day, which warms my heart and gets me excited. So seeing some of those things is it's exciting. Seeing how, as a customer, seeing how I could put to use some of those techniques or strategies was exciting. And now being on this side of it, just hearing about what our customers are doing and the amazing products they're developing is exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm equally as excited this year to, see what customer like. I always kind of compare it to like the home tour, the factory tour is probably a better term. Like, it's like a virtual factory tour where you have a customer on, they're talking about, how they're using and implementing the system, how they got started, best practices. It is really like that factory tour I miss so much, not being able to do that anymore is really tough, but hopefully again sometime. But definitely. So another question for you, Mehul, I think while I have you is relating to, now that you're at Onshape, what does it mean to be a customer strategy and enablement principal? It sounds like a really cool job to me.
It is a cool job. It is a cool job. I pinch myself every morning that I get to do this. But what we're doing is trying to provide our customers with the resources and guidance that they need to be successful with the product. And then not only that, we have amazing customer success managers that you featured on. You featured some of them on the podcast last time, and being able to arm them with some of the information to help these customers get the most out of Onshape is what we do. And I think we offer world-class support for CAD, and we help customers get that help and then get the most out of the software as they can.
Yeah, we on our last show that we had prior, we had a number of customer success team members on the show. We had who did we have on, Richard? We had oh my gosh, we had a large panel of people from, had Gabby Rocchino, we had it was
Jocelyn was
on. We had a number of people involved in the customer success operation, and it was really cool to kind of hear how they treat customers, and it's really a customer first mentality through and through is what I got from it.
It's good to be on this side of it too. I think we were as a customer, we received unparalleled support. I've never received that much support on CAD in my entire career before that. And at that point, I'd been using CAD for 20 years. I'd used a couple other tools. And I think if you sum the help we received from all those other companies, Onshape still exceeded it tenfold, maybe 20-fold. So it's exciting to see that kind of help, and especially transitioning to the cloud and taking full advantage of the cloud was important. And we got very excellent support that helped us be incredibly successful.
And at Onshape Live, there were a bunch of sessions last year. I know you were involved in part of one last year. Did you watch any?
I didn't have the chance to. So I was still working at Kitchler. So I was honest with the company, and doing what I had to do there, but then took a break for an hour to get in there. But I love the product side of it, and I love hearing what people are doing with the software. It was exciting to hear what other companies are doing. I was introduced to the idea of an electric vertical takeoff vehicle, and that blew my mind. And I think someone else mentioned, like, every time something interesting would be mentioned, they were amused at how wide my eyes got during the session. So in between my heart racing, because there were, lots of people watching it, I was just getting thrilled to hear what's going on in the world with some of these amazing clients.
Yeah. That's awesome. Loretta, for you, being involved in a couple of different companies recently, and being at Onshape now, and it feels like a very community based place, right? So how important is an event like Onshape Live, and why would you attend Onshape Live?
I think that's a really great question, right? Because if you think about like life today, we're all bombarded with this event and, attend this. And the one word that I would use to describe Onshape Live is to the benefit is that you get an opportunity to learn. So whether you're learning about CAD, you're learning, and you've been using it for Onshape for a while, and you're learning more advanced techniques, beginner type of techniques on modeling, on surfacing, you'll get an opportunity to learn. You'll also get an opportunity to learn from your peers. So you're seeing how they're using Onshape, you hear their stories, you get a chance to really ask some questions, ask some of the Onshapers questions. And so if I was to kind of summarize the biggest benefit that you would get from Onshape Live, it would be just an opportunity to really learn and learn from Onshapers and also learn from peers.
I agree. Yeah, what a great way of putting it. I think I'm just really excited personally for it. I have a session that I'm going to be giving to with Katie Huffman, who runs our training program. So we'll be talking about some really cool collaborative tips and tricks. There's going to be all sorts of other tips and tricks and customer kind of quote unquote factory tour type sessions. So it's I'm really excited for it. Richard, do you have any favorite stories from last year or something you're excited for this year?
One of the things that I enjoyed the most, or at least I enjoyed the most last year, were the keynotes from Jim Heppelman and John Herstick. Very interesting keynotes. You always get a lot of great information from them. But what really comes out, and you can see it, you can hear it in their words, and you can see it in their faces and their gestures, how much they care for the customers. I have a long history with John Herstick. He taught me from a very early time that the customer is the most important thing. And I believe him and I trust him on that. Don't have as much history with Jim Heppelman, but like I say, just from the keynote, just from some of the addresses that I've seen him give, you can tell it's all about the customer. And that's what an event like this should be, all about the customer.
One of the things I was actually going to mention was that, so although I'm new-ish to PTC and, new-ish to the Onshape team, I did get an opportunity to go back and check out some of the sessions that we had on demand. And even, watching some of those sessions has helped me understand the product better, understand how our customers are using it. So it was just like I checked out, the architecture session, pretty recently on the cloud native architecture, and it was really, really insightful. And I was like, I should have watched this a long time ago. It's got some really, really great, educational content in it, and I'm just blown away at how much people are able to really explain very, very complex topics in a simple way that will allow me, to learn being new to the CAD space.
That's awesome.
And just one more thing before we let these two go and move on to our other guests. I'm in a similar situation to Mehul in that I attended a CAD conference many, many years ago as a customer, and then the following year was able to attend as an employee. And the thing I think I learned the most from that is how many people are behind the planning for an event like this, and how a lot of them don't get the appreciation that they really deserve. So I certainly can't mention every single person that's working on Onshape Live 22. But for all of them, I want to thank them. I want to commend them for their efforts. And they're doing good things for our customers. So.
All right. Well, Loretta, Mehul, we'll see you in a meeting sometime later, I'm sure. But really good to have you guys on. I really appreciate you taking time out and saying hi to the Onshape world.
Thank you so much.
See you guys later. All right.
Yeah, that was some great information there.
Yeah, I agree.
Looking forward to next week. So we've got a couple more guests, right? We're going to keep talking about Onshape Live. I think one of the most popular events from last year was the design competition.
Totally.
And we've got, as our guests today, I want to welcome in Eugenia Camacho and Mackenzie Brunel, and they're going to tell us all about the design contest. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
I gotta use the clapping.
So, Eugenia, let me go ahead and we'll start with you. Why don't you tell our listeners, viewers, whichever way they're going on this, what is the Onshape Live 22 design competition?
Absolutely. So last year was a very important year for Onshape. It was our first Onshape Live event. And part of that was our very first Onshape design competition. Now, this design competition was made available to any user. You could be a hobbyist, you could be a professional user, you could be a student. It could be anyone you could submit to this competition. What it entailed was you had 3 weeks to submit a design, and some of our participants ended up being from 20 different countries. We had a total of 80 submissions from 200 participants. What that means is we had 48 teams be part of this competition and 32 individual submissions. Now, this was a very successful competition. It totaled out to be around 20,000 hours combined in Onshape, which is spectacular. Now, roll over to year 2022, we want to make it bigger and better. And so just to keep recapping on what happened last year, I actually want to pass it over to Mackenzie. She can show us the winning design as well as walk us through what was the prompt for this design competition. What did people have to submit in order to participate and win cool prizes?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like Eugenia mentioned, last year was the first time we had done this design competition. It was actually something that had come to us from one of our users. They posted in the forum when we mentioned Onshape Live and said, "Hey, are you guys doing a design competition?" And we said, "Sure, sounds like a great idea. Might as well." And so we actually added the design competition at the last minute. And so last year, what we decided to do is have a specific challenge focusing on work from home setup. That was something very relevant to all of us, and I'm sure still is super relevant to many of us. And so participants were actually tasked with 3 different things. So first was we gave them robotic arm components, and so they had to assemble those and then design their own end effector for it, and then model the elements of their work from home setup, including whatever that robot arm would be interacting with.
So let's put it on the screen here. I'm gonna put it up here.
Yeah, so this is the winning design from last year. And so you can see the work from home setup alone is very impressive. They model a whole bunch of stuff. I loved the wood flooring that they put here and just everything in the room and the little plants that they use, as well as some of these cool posters. But I'll zoom in, especially on that robotic arm. And so everyone was given the same arm, but then they designed their own end effector. And instead of making just something that manipulates other components like most of the designs were, they actually took a unique approach and instead decided to treat their arm as an input device similar to like a space mouse or some other 3D mouse to make it easy to actually manipulate things on a screen. So in this case, it's that Cybertruck. And so as you move, I gotta grab the right part. As you move the robotic arm and that end effector, it actually manipulates what's on the screen. So it's just a really cool approach that they took for this design.
Yeah, this is like deep level of thinking. I don't know where they came up with this idea, but they deserve a lot of kudos.
Yeah. And then we had 3 hours and they made all of this. So that alone is pretty incredible. And then to do that association and to come up with the mates that it takes to act and the relations to make it so when you move that thing, it moves the other thing is just incredible.
And the top 3 from last year, they were all teams, right? They all decided to it was very organic, right? People could form teams very organically. It wasn't like, prescribed that they had to, they could, but it just happened very organically, right?
Yeah, exactly. And especially having a time limit last year, it really encouraged having teams because you can get a lot more done when you work together. And so you can definitely have some very impressive things that you're putting together if you're working together.
Absolutely. So
I think also very impressive is the fact that this was done during a pandemic by teams that were in very different parts of the country, maybe even different parts of the world. And yet with Onshape, everybody's able to work together no matter where they are. And working on the same model at the same time.
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's the only way it could have been done in 3 hours. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do we have for this year?
So the moment we've been waiting for, what is happening for the design competition this year? Now, similar to how Mackenzie mentioned that we were inspired by someone in the forum saying, hey, we should have this design competition, we were once again inspired this year on what we should do this design competition on. So if you go onto our Onshape Live webpage and look over at the design competition, you will actually be able to look at our guidelines. Now, this year, we are opening up the theme or topic a little bit more and allowing any type of design to be submitted. It can fall under the 3 categories of part design, assembly design, and custom feature. What this means is we are asking all of our users to share their best design work and show off their CAD skills and Onshape knowledge. This was inspired by an internal annual design competition we hold inside of Onshape, where we have people across all departments show us their skills and design work. So fun fact, Onshapers also love to use Onshape. So we had a bunch of submissions, and there is actually a blog post that shows some of those submissions. So from that success and the use of, features and capabilities and seeing engineering techniques, we thought it would be fantastic to open this up to everyone. And again, on this document, you'll see that similar to last year, we will be having awards for each one of these individual categories. So there will be a winner for part design, a winner for assembly design, a winner for custom features, and you will also have the ability to win a prize as a student. We'll have an overall student award and an overall participation award, so the outstanding one for everyone. One important thing is everyone is eligible to participate as long as you are registered for Onshape Live 2022. The winners will be announced on March 2nd, the day of Onshape Live. So if you participate, you have up to February 1st to submit your design, and stay tuned until March 2nd to hear who the winners are. And of course, our championship belt will be returning. So that winner of the overall competition will get that belt. So of course, that is really good incentive for people to participate, as well as some other really cool prizes such as vouchers, as well as Onshape swag and much, much more. But you can go on the site, register for Onshape Live, number 1. And number 2, go look at the guidelines for how we're going to be grading each one of these submissions. And also, just if you're submitting as a group, similar to last year, we're really encouraging collaboration. So if you're submitting as a group, what that entails and general rules regarding the competition.
Any hints or advice, Mackenzie, for people jumping into the competition? It was a lot of fun looking at the models that were submitted last year.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I will say is, again, if you have more people, you can do a lot more design work. So keeping in mind that Onshape is a collaborative platform, and you can find other people through the forum or user groups or wherever it may be that you can work with on designs. The other thing too is we wanted to keep this competition more open-ended, so it doesn't have to be something that you start today. It can be something that you've been working on for the last year. So if you have projects that you have been working on that you're very excited about, you can certainly submit those, or you can start right now and still have that opportunity, especially if you do collaborate.
That's great. That's great. Well,
and if I can add something there real quick.
Please.
I think another thing about these submissions that is really crucial is we're really looking at seeing how our users are using our advanced features and capabilities. This last year we had, releases that had many new features. So it's very important to see how users are leveraging those capabilities, as well as seeing different engineering techniques. So seeing how users are using this to actually manufacture things, if so. So I think just overall that engineering excellence and that real life application is really important. So I think that's something that we're looking forward to seeing through these submissions.
And if you look at that next page on the guidelines, we have a whole list of things that our judges are going to be looking for. So these are some guiding questions you can think about before you submit as you're cleaning up your models or thinking about what to do next or what you can work on.
And dates to be aware of for submission and things like that. Let's just make sure that's clear.
February
Yeah, so-
1st.
February 1st. All right. That's
10 days away.
Yeah.
That's very close.
Cool. Richard, anything else you'd?
I think they covered it both quite nicely. I think my other question was going to be, deadlines, and we've gone through that. You asked a brilliant question of Mackenzie for as far as tips for some of our users, and I also suggest go ahead and read that document. Read it very carefully, because you'll actually in between the lines you'll find some tips in there as well.
Good call. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you, Eugenia, for your hard work and great work on this competition. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I can't wait to see the results.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Michael, why don't we bring everybody back for one last word?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. So I tell you what, why don't we'll start with Michael. One word on why somebody should attend Onshape Live 22.
I also like to hear from the top in the direction of the company. So my eyes and ears will be tuned in to Jim and John's talk, kicking off the conference. That's going to be what I'm most looking forward to.
So for me, it's networking. I'll be looking for those special people that are doing presentations or paying the most attention or asking the interesting questions and inviting them to present at our user group meetings. So for me, it's networking. Eugenia.
I think for me, it will be accelerate. So I think that we will all be learning what, capabilities are existing, being used, and future coming into Onshape. And I think they will all accelerate our growth, accelerate our use, and accelerate our product design process. So I think that's my word.
Great answer. Mackenzie,
Yeah,
what's your
you
word?
actually did it correctly too. You said one word. So accelerate. So kudos to you for actually doing that right.
Mackenzie, what's your word?
Mine's inspiration. I think we can all see so much of the work that everyone else is doing, and especially with this design competition, seeing the different projects and what other people are able to do and accomplish with Onshape. And like Eugenia said, some of those future-facing pieces that are getting added to Onshape and how those can impact our day-to-day life and how we can incorporate those features. So excited to get some inspiration out of the event.
Terrific. Loretta?
Mine's still going to be learn. I think that just the opportunity to learn is going to be one of the biggest things because I'm going to be learning.
And finally, Mehul.
Mine's community. I think the clients and our customers that use Onshape have amazing stories and can share a lot of information from each other. But this is an opportunity for customers and potential customers to learn from Onshapers on how to use Onshape the best. And the other thing I'm excited about is just not having to force people to talk about CAD. People that come visit my house, they are forced into conversations about CAD and involuntarily sometimes, and then leave as CADers. But this is what I'm excited about. Just the be nerdy and learn about CAD.
Be nerdy and learn about CAD. I love it. I love it. Actually, you had a good story. Actually, I'm going to put you on the spot, Mehul. You had a really good story that you shared with us ahead of the call about what you did over the nice cold holiday weekend relating to CAD indoctrination.
Yeah, so I had a friend. We've done some woodworking projects together, and then he texted me and he said, "Hey, I want to learn Onshape." So I said, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's hop on a call and do that." And then we got him going for a little bit, and then he didn't hear from him. And then I got another text from him. He said, "Hey, our heat's out. Can we stay at your house for a night?" And so he packed up the family and the dog, and they all came and stayed with us. And he brought his computer, so I got very excited. I said, "Hey, did you finish your Onshape project?" He's like, "Yeah, I started it, but I'm a little bit stuck here." So we got a chance to actually work on a model with him. he said, just show me a few things, and then I want to work on this a little bit. And then left him alone. He rebuilt his model, and I heard him cheering from in the kitchen while he was working on it. And I came in, and we had some high fives to get to finish the model. And I a couple times heard a couple wow, this is neat, this is great, this is so awesome, just kind of chirping out of the kitchen. So it was just a fun way to spend a snowy day with family and friends and Onshape.
That sounds like perfection.
You bet.
I think that's a great way to wrap up the show, Richard. What do we have anything in store for the next episode that you wanted to share?
I'm not sure what we have planned, Michael, but I'm pretty sure it'll be cool. So
it's definitely gonna be. Yeah.
I encourage everybody to go ahead and subscribe to our podcast, so you'll always be notified when the new episode drops. I just want to say thanks again to all of our guests. Thank you very much, Eugenia, Mackenzie, Loretta, Mehul. I think it's been a great episode, and look forward to Onshape Live 22.
See you all later.
Thank you.
Have a great day.